Nail in my hand from my creator. You gave me a life. Now show me how to live. Show me how to live. Oh, you're not going to? That's cool. So, I have a summer job working for my old sensei. Sensei. Actually, we call him Sifus, but my Sifu in Kung Fu is a little redundant, so I'm gonna call him a sensei. Plus, it sounds cooler. And you know, it's not all ninja raids on rival schools to sweep the leg. In fact, you could say that's 0% of it. You could also say this guy was hiding. But it's whatever, you can use whatever tactics you want now. I've reached the point where I don't care. It's however you want to play. But back to ninja raids. Night Jester, you idiot! Ninjas are Japanese and Kung Fu is Chinese. Clearly, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, you're right, dude. I forgot that I was on YouTube. I just assume everyone's an idiot. Wait, is that a shot at YouTubers? Whoops, it's just a joke. Yeah, so I'll be working for Sensei as I await going to Korea to teach, which I'm really looking forward to. I don't know if it's escaping the country or teaching the chillin', or, you know, starting a career, which I'm a bit of a late bloomer. I should have started a career a while ago, but whatever. I'm a bit apathetic when it comes to life. I have my moments of inspiration, and as quickly as they came, I'm back to feeling quite the same. The same being apathetic. But soon enough, I'll have my E2 visa, and I'll be in Korea playing tennis with Subliminal Psycho, which is quite a euphoric dream of mine. A crisp, chill November night, surrounded by darkness, just the light of the courts, hitting tennis balls back and forth with Subliminal Psycho. Or anybody. It just so happens that you're there. And hey, if I have to travel to Korea to play tennis with someone, which is pretty much a reality, then I'll do it. But until that's a reality, I'll hold off on the euphoria of that. But right now, working for Sensei. What am I doing, you say? It's not ninja raids, apparently. It's not assassin missions. What is it? I mean, it has to be cool, right? Well, it involves a lot of folding of papers to be mailed off, inputting data into computers, landscaping, you know, pretty much whatever he needs me to do, I'ma do it. But it's cool, at least I'm getting paid this time. When I was a student, a long time ago, it used to be the thing to serve your master, to do things for free. As martial arts kind of fell out of popularity, they couldn't really use the whole master thing against you. But it is interesting sitting there folding papers while a class is going on, seeing how much things have changed. It's definitely a lot more peaceful, or not as gritty, I guess you could say. Like, he's really toned down sparring sessions. I remember last inter-school tournament I went to. An inter-school tournament is just a tournament within the school, which I'm really glad he let me participate, since I hadn't been going to that school or even practicing martial arts for quite some time. Well, I had been practicing fighting, but not martial arts. But he let me practice, and every kick I threw, he gave me the look, like, don't kick so hard. And he used to not care, like, you know, people would kick the crap out of each other. In point sparring, you're not supposed to hurt your opponent. Like, if you draw blood, I believe you lose the fight typically, or you used to lose the fight. I haven't been to an actual tournament in a while. But there is a borderline, which as a martial artist, you should have that typical control. You strike just hard enough to break their guard, and typically that ends up hurting them, which you have to turn away from the opponent, kneel in a respectful manner while they recover, basically. Now, from my experience competing in many tournaments back in the day, it really was kind of like Karate Kid. You had the good schools, which my school was good. I mean, like, nice and friendly. Then you had the asshole schools, which were typically the show-offs with the American teacher, the white guy sensei, who sees it as a competition and only the strong survive type of thing. And every time they hurt someone and they kneel away, you can see them smirk. You can see that cocky smirk. They look at their teacher, they give them that smile like, I did good, right? It's really negative reinforcement. And, you know, I talk about being the underdog. You know, I play a PS3 and get screwed over by Microsoft buying off everyone. But, you know, competing in Kung Fu at that specific time was the epitome of being an underdog. Kung Fu did well in sparring, practical sparring, but when it came to forms, it just wasn't in at that time. Like now, they distinguish between traditional forms and XMA or extreme martial arts, which basically means acrobatic display forms, which really at that time, they should have just been in specialty forms divisions, which specialty forms you could play music and do whatever you wanted. You invented your own form. It was pretty interesting. But even in the regular forms competitions, Kung Fu just wasn't flashy enough. You know, displaying balance and all that. It did get you a high score if you did it properly, which I never really did. But the judges, unless they were a Kung Fu judge, they couldn't always tell if you did the form properly, and they wouldn't always give you credit for how well you did it. Now, XMA was still pretty new at that time. In the beginning, people would throw in maybe a roll or an Indo kick. I believe that's what they call it, which is pretty badass. I wish I could do it. But yeah, so if you threw in something like that, something flashy, it was pretty much automatically a high score, or a higher score than our piddly Kung Fu forms at the time. But the great thing was, in the end, it ended up being kind of all flash, no cash sort of thing for these other schools. Sure, they had skills. They had a lot of skill to be flashy like that. But by learning basic fundamentals, a good base, balance, technique to give you power in your strikes, it ended up benefiting me in the long run. Like, I'm very not flashy when it comes to fighting, but as some can attest, I have some damn power, and I owe that to learning a traditional martial arts and focusing on all the right things, which I didn't appreciate at the time. At the time, I was like the typical young person. I want to learn to do these flashy kicks, which are very intimidating. When I saw my competition do these forms, I was very intimidated. Once we got in the sparring ring, it was like me versus your average quickscoper, which I'll give some quickscopers credit. They'll completely dominate me regardless. But there are some average quickscopers out there that are intimidating, but they're not quite as good as they seem. Like the guy who 360 quickscoped in Modern Warfare 2 for a FFA win against me. I was so intimidated. I was like, wow, this guy, you know, there's no way I can beat him. So, you know, I put my game face on the next round. I won. He said something about, the only reason you won, Night Jester, was because you were trying hard. If I try hard, I can win every time. So then I won the next round. I don't remember what happened the following round, if he left or I left, because I was tired of it. But that's how it was in the sparring ring. You don't Indo kick in the sparring ring, and if you do, hats off to you. You're pretty damn amazing. And point sparring is about as peaceful as you can get for fighting. I just might want to add, not everything in point sparring applies to a real fight, and I've seen some ridiculous moves in there. Some people take it to the extreme of, it's a game, I'm just gonna touch you. Now, a proper judge will not give you the point if you just lightly touch them. You have to strike them. But I loved point sparring. I still love point sparring if I ever get a chance. It's just fast reactions, blocking, not trying to hurt the other guy. It's turning fighting into a game. Oh, hey, if you're still here, or if you ever were here, thanks for watching. I'm actually going to make a part 2 on this one. I say that a lot, but I'm really going to make it. In part 2, we'll have some real-life adventures I've had through my Sensei, or because of him. He's led me to some interesting scenarios, I guess. Or just a couple that I can think of, and I'll make a whole commentary about that. I don't know. But yeah, goodbye to you.